We are witnessing a masterclass in the art of moving the goalpost. In the realm of leadership, clarity is king. But today's liberal establishment prefers the fog of gaslighting over the light of truth. When it comes to this Iranian conflict, they don't just change the rules of the game, they move the stadium while the ball is in midair. If Donald Trump chooses restraint, they call him weak. They call him taco. If he chooses strength, they call him a warmonger, a madman, a Nazi, Hitler. They have engineered a lose-lose architecture where victory is like a ghost that disappears the moment it's within reach. This isn't just partisan bickering. It's spineless gaslighting designed to destabilize our national resolve. You already know I always like to quote the Bible because that's just what I do. Because I don't know about y'all, but I was raised as a Christian person. And when I deal with situations, it's just like it's always kind of like a reference for me because it really helps you understand and grasp like deeper meaning on things. I mean, you don't have to be a super religious person to do that. But if you read the book, I don't know, but everyone who reads, they reference back to books that they've read, right? You see people using quotes from Shakespeare to like better communicate certain feelings that they have. And if the other person is familiar with Shakespeare, then you guys got a thing and it's a vibe session. But the Bible warns us at the book of Proverbs in the 20th chapter, verse 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. What does that mean? A lot of people don't know what they won't know what that means. But see, back in the biblical days, when you would buy things like grain, even when you buy meat, just like today, they would use a scale to measure the weight of the meat or the weight of the grain or fruit that you were buying. And there were some con artists, shysters, who called themselves merchants, who would do things like have a false balance on their weighing scale. You know, they'll have it set to a certain tare that made the weight a little bit heavier, which obviously would favor the business. But see, what happened in the long run was people would go to different markets and they would realize very quickly that you were doing something fishy with your scale or your weighing system. And so the weights were coming out wrong in your favor. That is the same exact thing that the Democrat Party and liberals are doing when it comes to Donald Trump. We like to call that rules for thee, but not for me. If this was a Democrat leader who was able to defang the IRGC the way Trump has done, you would hear them singing his praises. When Barack Obama managed to find Osama bin Laden and bury his body at sea, the Democrats celebrated. If Trump had done that very thing, they'll be calling him a murderer, a warmonger, and screaming, why didn't Osama bin Laden get a fair trial? When you use one scale for your allies and a rigged one for your enemies, you aren't seeking peace. You're not seeking bipartisanship. You're not trying to come together so that the country can heal. You're seeking a narrative. You're seeking a way to intentionally undermine the commander-in-chief during a foreign conflict for the sake of a poll jump, because what do you really gain? Some might call that politics, but honest people just call that treason. Bad leadership looks for an exit strategy from the truth. It prefers a comfortable lie to a difficult win or a difficult contest. As Thomas Paine, you guys don't know about him, very crucial Brit, wrote a lot of motivational stuff during the Revolutionary War. He was definitely on the side of the of the founders, the founding fathers. Thomas Paine once said, "The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in crisis, shrink from the service of their country. We are surrounded, my friends, by sunshine patriots who only want the safety of the fortress while they actively pick the locks of the front gate. They're inside the fortress trying to undermine our fortress, America, from within." And you might ask yourself, how does it benefit an American to tear down America? If Iranian bombs were to hit our shores, who dies? Chinese people? Laotian people? Viet Congs over in Vietnam? No, Americans do. So you have to help me understand how these people can say they love America, how they can say that they are qualified to lead the American people, when they are totally okay with undermining the best interest and safety of the American citizen if they believe that it will give them a political advantage. I'm always inspired by a certain event that took place during the Barack Obama, what's that old dude's name who he ran against? John McCain presidential contest. John McCain was holding a town hall meeting and he was taking questions. And a portly white woman with curly hair raised her hand, and John McCain brought the microphone over to her and he handed it to her with his little arms. And she starts talking, and while she's talking, she starts saying Barack Obama is a Muslim and he's a terrorist, and she's afraid. She said, "He's a Muslim, I'm afraid." John McCain did not hesitate for a moment. Even though he was losing to Barack in the polls, even though he had a large hill to climb and he really needed that win because it was his last chance to run for president, John McCain took that microphone from that woman. He said, "No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's a Christian. He's a fine American, and he loves this country. We just have some differences on how we believe it should be run." What happened to those days? What happened to those days when you could cheer for your opposition? Hell, Democrats lost 4 years ago. 2 years ago, almost a year and a half ago. Why can't they just work together with the administration in respect in the name of making the country better? They'll have another chance in 2028. And if Donald Trump is as bad as they say he is, it should be easy for them to waltz on in. You guys have to understand something. You cannot lead a nation by following the whims of a shifting shadow. You cannot find or gain a victory if you are the one hiding the trophy. How are you on the team but steadily trying to move the goalpost? So I want to ask everybody a question, everyone who's watching this. Are you following a leader who stands on the rock? Are you being led by a bunch of cowards who sold the rock for a handful of shifting sand? Now, you might not understand what that means. That might be a little bit too deep for some of us. But are you following somebody who stands strong for America, win, lose, or draw? Or are you following a group of people who only want to be patriots when they're at the top? They only want to be American when they're in the leadership seat. That's a question that everybody needs to ask themselves. The Democrat Party will never present to you any policy. The Democrat Party will never give you any great ideas that will make your life better. All the Democrat Party will ever do is continue to criticize true leadership. that at this point, from what I can see, has led us through an extremely volatile, challenging time. Donald Trump had the strength to lead us in, and I truly believe that he has the strength to lead us out. And you know he does, just like I do. But you're choosing up. You're picking sides. So based on the side that you choose, you have to basically lie or convince yourself that he's not the most qualified person to stand on that stage when it came to picking a president in the last election. Could you imagine following Biden in a situation like this? Biden would have just gave Iran $150 billion more dollars. They would have fully enriched the uranium to nuclear levels if it was under Biden, because his strategy was just keep giving them money as a bribe. He gives them a bribe. They use the money to train terrorists. Those terrorists go attack Israel or whatever other country, eventually America, and he pretends like he don't know what the hell is going on. He goes and eats ice cream on the beach. Could you imagine if it was Kamala Harris? She made it very clear on The View that she would do everything exactly the way Biden did it. They said, is there anything about the way Biden did things that you would change? She said, no, I can't think of anything that I would change. You might look at me and say, oh man, this dude's doing this and he's kissing Trump's ass and all this stuff. No, I'm just using common sense. I'm using the common sense that you try to teach your children. You are not your parents. You are not your grandparents. Unlike them, you have an unprecedented access to new information. You have a little computer in your pocket called a cell phone that will give you all the information you need or desire. All you need is want or desire it. Me, I have a desire. I have a want for the information. So I go seek the information objectively. And whatever I find is what I find, and I bring it to you and I lay it at your feet. But if Trump fails, you don't win. You fail because you become less safe. If the Democrats in their current iteration, in their current form, win, well, guess what? We all lose because they are profiting from the loss of Americans. They're not worried about you. They accepted more billionaire corporate money than any other political party in the country for the past 10 years. Whose best interest do you think they have at heart? Yours or the people giving them billions and billions and billions of dollars? Do you understand that Kamala Harris, as dumb as she is, raised more money in a presidential campaign than anyone in history? Where did she get that money from? Super PACs and multi-billionaires. But you think that that's the party that's going to help you find affordability by making those very same billionaires pay their fair share. You got to be out of your mind. Somebody in the comments said Trump is like 3 to 5 chess moves ahead of the average person. And I'm telling you, I'd have to agree. Because in my mind, I kind of see a strategy here that I think Trump is going to employ, and I really think it's going to work. I really think it's going to work. Because by Iran accepting that ceasefire, what they did was, and they had no choice. What they have to do now is expose a lot of their weaknesses. Because if you open up the Strait of Hormuz and ships are able to go through it, well, that tells me that you didn't really mine it like you said you would. If you bring the IRGC troops out to board and search every vessel, well, that tells us where they are. Guys, you guys got to understand this is chess, not checkers. This is chess, not tiddlywinks. It's a 2-week ceasefire. They're desperate to make money because they don't got anything coming in right now. And in pursuing that money, they're either going to work with America and capitulate to every single demand that Trump made, or they will be giving up very sensitive intel as to the whereabouts of their troops, whether or not they bombed the Strait of Hormuz, and a bunch of other stuff there, and a lot of their capabilities. And the United States an already dominant military will have the logistical knowledge that they need to just go ahead in and knock them out. Iran, move wisely. Idiots, sit in the back. The adults are in charge, and we're going to get us home. What up? Hey, guys, listen. All right, I'm breaking character now. Guys, listen, man. Trump put on a masterclass. I think my homie, who's like a Iran supporter to the core, I think even he admitted that Iran got squeezed and they popped like a damn, like a balloon. You got people out here talking about, oh, Iran won. They got everything they wanted. I'm like, they didn't get shit. Iran held out talking tough. We don't want no ceasefire. We don't want no peace treaty. Trump got on that thing and was like, look, bro, I'm about to take your whole country out. They said he ain't going to do it. He bluffing. Trump bombed Karg Island. Next thing you know, they on the phone with Pakistan. All right. We going to use y'all as the excuse for us agreeing to the ceasefire. The leader in Pakistan who negotiated the ceasefire, Iran used to call him a wimp. They used to call him a wimp and a fake Muslim all the time. Now, all of a sudden, he's their brother. He's their brother. The Carnell Smith. Oh, guys, I'm giving you guys the links. Y'all good. Y'all good in the hood. Hey, guys, we have a challenge for super chats. $5 super chats. You can contribute either through the super chat button down at the bottom or Cash App or PayPal. Guys, fund and support and sponsor the channel that doesn't agree with you. You need duality. You need a balance. You go listen to everything you want to hear all day. Support and come over here and listen to what you don't want to hear. Because the truth lies somewhere in the middle. But the truth also lies here. But it's not the truth that you're ready to accept. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, yes. But what I'm telling you is this is just a ceasefire deal. Now, another deal will be negotiated, and I know that the deal will be made because Iran was stuck in a tough position. Because one thing you got to understand about the IRGC is they're trying to save face at all costs. They're not trying to come off as weak. That's their biggest thing. They just care about the optics because there are so many people in the Middle East and so many other countries that look to Iran as like the strong counter to American hegemony, right? And Iran knows that they don't have that power, but they have to keep people thinking that they have their power. When I think about Iran, I think of the movie The Wizard of Oz. Remember the wizard? We're off to see the wizard. Remember, the Wizard of Oz has no real power, but he is able to put on a great display to make it look like he has power. And with the appearance of being powerful, he was able to build one of the greatest kingdoms in the land of Oz, right? And that was enough for him to ward off the witches and the other evil creatures that might come and try to invade the Emerald City and do damage to him and the people who dwell within Emerald City. That is much like Iran. They have to project power, even if they don't really have much power. So that's why they couldn't come out and say, all right, we give up. We want to negotiate. They're also doing their best to try to cling to power. They want this to end, but they need it to end with them on top, with them still in power, because they feel like whatever happens, if the United States leaves them alone and they're left in charge, they'll be able to build it back, better than it ever was. At the end of the day, this is about a bunch of radical Islamic clerics getting rich. This is about a bunch of dudes who, in my opinion, don't give a damn about their people. It's about them maintaining their wealth. Understand there are oligarchs in every country on earth. And Iran is no different. And they have people that they have to please who are calling the shots over there. And if those oligarchs believe that they can get richer with America calling the shots or with America doing regime change in Iran, trust me, regime change will happen. But if those people think that the IRGC is the best bet for them to continue to build their wealth, well, guess what? If the IRGC plays their cards right, they will continue to be in charge of that government. But it looks like right now there's dissent between the president of Iran and the IRGC, because he's saying that rogue IRGC generals are the ones who continue to fire missiles and ballistic missiles at Israeli and Middle Eastern targets, even against his orders, while he tells them, hey, we're in a ceasefire. So there's a lot of dissension among the ranks. The wizard hid behind the curtain 100%. And if you look at the leadership in Iran, what are they doing? They're in hiding. The gay son of Ayatollah Khamenei, he's like in a coma. So they really have no leader. And you're right, Zart, they really can't save face at this point. All they can do is try to walk away with something. And I think that something is going to be their lives. I think we're going to give them a deal like, we won't hang you guys if you guys just like walk away right now and turn over the keys. That's what it's looking like. Because when you agree to a ceasefire at this point, you basically expose everything. Now we're going to learn what capacity the Iranian military or IRGC still has left. We're going to learn. Where do they really have all these missiles and soldiers lined up ready to run out and fight America? Or were they just a bunch of guys hiding in holes in the desert, like Saddam Hussein like Gaddafi when they put him out of that sewage drain, trying to hope and pray that the bombs stop dropping. I want you guys to listen to this. This is an Iranian journalist. He's sitting with a news reporter, and this was 3 hours before Trump's deadline was reached. And he dropped some very telling points. And one of the points he made was Iran takes the threats of Donald Trump very, very seriously. A lot of people try to blow it off like, oh, they don't care about Trump, this, that, and the third, the IRGC. No, he made it very clear. He said, no. We take the threats of President Trump very seriously.
Iranian journalist Mohammad Reza Mousavi joins me. Nice to see you again, sir.
It's always a pleasure.
Do you think this gentleman thinks President Trump is kidding? Or does he think that they have such a force that they can fight the United States?
Well, actually, from what I've learned from the past is that Iranians nowadays take President Trump's threats really seriously. I talked to many people in Tehran and also other parts of the country who are really worried. On the contrary to the past few weeks, people are panic buying. In the past few weeks, it's a surprise, but they were not panic buying. But now they're worried. They don't know what will happen tomorrow, local time, and they're really worried. So I think that the government is taking this threat seriously, and they're trying their best to do whatever they can to at least increase the price to cost of whatever President Trump is doing.
Well, what can be left of the government? I mean, I realize the IRGC was quite large, but they've been pounding him since February 28th. They've hit the Ayatollah. His son apparently is in very rough shape someplace, according to different reports. Who's making the decisions? Who's running the place?
So we know that the Secretary of the National Security, Supreme Council of National Security, is probably the most prominent person remaining, along with the head of Judiciary. They may be taking the most important decisions. The Secretary of the National Security Council is very close to the IRGC. But the IRGC remains and is actually emerging as the most important power inside the country, to the extent that we hear rumors that the IRGC is taking decisions even over the president and whoever is left from the government to take decisions.
Well, in the very beginning, President Trump offered amnesty to anybody who wanted to lay down the weapon, basically, and stop him. I've always been surprised that the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations didn't take him up on the offer, because he's lived in New York. He's enjoyed New York, unless, of course, he has a lot of family back home. And in many countries, if you have family back home, they'll be executed if you abscond. But is he a loyal Iranian? The Iranian ambassador to the UN.
Well, I personally have never met him, but I know that the Islamic Republic has had this habit of choosing people carefully and checking their backgrounds, so they're not letting everybody get into their ranks. So we should know that everybody who's working for the administration or the government has been vetted strongly, and they may be, at least if they're not infiltrators, they are close to the ideological bases of the government.
Right. So this is an Iranian journalist right here. So why he would need to lie to help Trump or whatever? His name is Mohammad Reza Mousavi. And so what he makes very clear is that Iran ain't putting nobody who might be wishy-washy in the IRGC or in these leadership positions. What that points to is that we could be looking at a situation where the IRGC isn't even all that strong or tough. They just make sure they put ideological radicals or their ideological counterparts in positions of authority. People who believe it so much that they're not going to go against it, or people who are in fear that their families might be hurt or harmed if they express any dissent with the IRGC. Now think about this. You got all these people in America trying to paint the IRGC as the good guys. Do you think a good guy would threaten to kill your family if you disagree with him? I know one group in America that would probably do some crazy stuff like that as they get more and more radicalized, the Democrat Party. You got people talking about, man, I had to cut off a lifelong friend because they voted for Trump. Like, bro, if it was your friend for your whole life, why would you allow someone who's going to be out of office in 2 years to end that friendship? That's stupid. But that's what these people are. They're just the Democrats and the liberals. They're just like the IRGC. They just haven't built up the courage to actually start. Well, they do attack people. I'll give them that. But they haven't built up the courage to try to, arm and actively go against people who don't agree with them on everything. So what I want to do is I want to try to point to some of the facts in this situation, because we only deal with the facts, not the feelings over here on this channel. I don't know what them other dudes do on them other channels that y'all be watching, but I know what we do over here, right? And so, hold on, let me see if I can move this. Can I move it? Okay, good. Okay, I know how to move this now. Jesus. Okay, so basically, I want to read what they're saying, because people are like arguing, oh, the United States didn't get anything. They walked away empty-handed. But if you look at the letter that they wrote, or the tweet or whatever that the IRGC wrote, it shows you that these guys basically capitulated. So this is what Saeed Abbas Arachi, Minister of Foreign Affairs for the Islamic Republic of Iran, this is what he wrote. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brother, he, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Sharif, and I don't know what that means, H.E. Field Marshal Munir. I don't know what that H.E. means, but Field Marshal Munir, for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of Prime Minister Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare, on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. So guys, we know that their defensive operations basically amounted to shooting a couple of missiles at Israel every day. I don't know how powerful that makes you, seeing as how Israel's population is at 75% support for them to continue to jack you guys up. Clearly your missile strikes are not having the intended effect on the Israeli population that you wanted, right? So they're ready to just end Iran at this point from the top to the bottom, even the civilians, 75% wanted this thing to keep going, and they want to get Iran out of there. So they always have to speak in this language, like, oh, our powerful military and da-da-da. But like my mama used to tell me, if you got to talk about what you are, then you ain't really what you're talking about, right? You don't have to call yourself powerful if you're powerful. An alpha doesn't have to call itself an alpha. You just are what you are, and you just handle your business. But what I want to point to is this. They use all this like flowery language. President Trump's his acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal. What does that even mean? The general framework. The framework is an outline. So what does that mean? He's not agreeing to the meat of what you're talking about. And then they say, we're going to have negotiations based on its 15-point proposal as well as announcements, right? So he tries to put the 15. So he's saying the negotiations are going to be based on the 15-point proposal. So they're going to talk about the 15-point proposal that Donald Trump gave them about promising not to do nukes and all this stuff. And Donald Trump announced a while back. What did he say? A couple days ago, he said they've already capitulated on the nuclear stuff. They've already said that, oh, His Excellency. Okay, over here we know kings. You feel me? So I ain't even got no frame of reference for it. Thank you, I appreciate that. But you can tell based on what he's saying. I now believed what Trump said when he said that they all already agreed to not do the nuclear stuff no more. So Trump is hitting them to get them to capitulate to the rest. But I really believe the IRGC is about to be done either way because now they've been exposed. So he says, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations for a period of 2 weeks. Safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. So just think, guys, he's admitting that they are not at the capacity they once were. You have to be considerate of technical limitations, right? Also, in coordination with Iran's armed forces. Does that mean Iran's armed forces is going to be like boarding every ship? We don't know. Probably not. But they're telling you, he's saying it without saying it, that their capacity is significantly diminished. So Trump's strategy worked. Now you got people up here talking about, oh, Trump lost and da-da-da-da. My thing is this. Every single thing Trump said he was going to do, he did. He told you. Didn't he say we could open up the Strait of Hormuz in like an hour or something? Didn't Trump say that? He was just talking trash. We could open up the Strait of Hormuz like nothing. But he wanted the countries of NATO who actually get things through the Strait of Hormuz. He wanted them to do the heavy lifting. And this would have been a nice little easy win for them to kind of flex their muscles and show the world that they're not playing. No, that doesn't mean Iran is in control of the strait. That means that Iran is letting everybody through. And it probably means that Iran could not control the strait at all anyway. But guys, if you want to disagree with me, the link is in the comments. Come explain it to me. Explain how Iran is. Listen, I have a very simple and very direct reasoning for why I don't believe Iran really was ever in control of the strait, and they're not in control now. If you would like to tell me, give me a 1 in the. If you would like me to tell you why I know that Iran is not as powerful as everyone wants them to be, give me a 1 in the comments, and I'll let you know. I'll tell you. I'll interrupt, and I'll just let you know. But this is a total capitulation because you did all that bullshit and talking just to be at the negotiating table after you said you wasn't never going to negotiate. Think about that. They said they were never going to negotiate, and now they're negotiating. So why did you have to sit there and let all those people die? Why did you do that? Just to end up buck broken and capitulate to everything. That don't make sense. But let me tell you this, y'all. If the Strait of Hormuz being shut down was the power play that Iran and all these people on the internet think it was, why didn't Iran, on the first day they were attacked by the U.S., before all their leadership died and all that, why didn't they just say, they attacked us, shut down the Strait of Hormuz? Understand that shutting down the Strait of Hormuz was a last-minute attempt to get the United States and Israel off their neck. If that's your last recourse, if that's your last option, you know that that is not your strongest option. That is literally like desperation. You're hoping that by closing that down, that'll get them off your back. Because if that was something that was going to be highly effective, you would have did it initially. You're not going to let your supreme leader get killed when you know all you have to do is shut down the Strait of Hormuz and everybody's going to back up off you. Am I wrong or am I right? Am I wrong or am I right? How much damage could you have saved your military, your Navy, your Air Force if you would have just said, all right, let's go shut down the Strait of Hormuz and tell them to back up off us? Guys, I'm telling you, Iran knew. See, Iran cannot survive without the Strait of Hormuz being open. So it was like sand going through an hourglass the minute they closed it. Them closing the strait was hurting them more than us. Understand that. You guys can say I'm wrong, but you'll never come up and say it. Link is in the comments. Come on. Wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm totally right. Why didn't they shut down the strait initially to get the United States up off their neck? Because they knew if they shut down the strait, it hurts them more than it hurts us. It's like somebody own a liquor store, right? And you go in a liquor store and you like, man, you trying to like, let's say you stealing something. Or they like, we don't want you coming in our store because you black. So when they see you coming, they close the shop up. And they keep the shop closed for the rest of the day so you can't come in. Who is that hurting more, you or them? You can go to another shop. But their shop is closed, so they can't bring in no money. That's the same thing. The United States don't get nothing from the Strait of Hormuz that affects us. I kid you not. If you look at the price of a barrel of oil, it was $116 a barrel earlier today. As soon as Trump announced the ceasefire, it plummeted. And now it's at like $90 a barrel. And tomorrow is going to be even lower than that. Those prices on a barrel of oil, that's not something that's being dictated by the direct closure of the Strait of Hormuz. That is the speculation by the market of increased oil price or basically decreased supply because of Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. But Trump literally was like, and this is a fact, Trump literally was like, I could open up the Strait of Hormuz in like a couple hours. And if you look, right, he's scary. Hey, can you behold? He's scary as hell. But if you look at Trump, what he said and what he did, bro told the absolute truth. Trump opened the Strait of Hormuz with like no effort. Think about it. He didn't lose a single soldier. He didn't lose a single plane. Do you remember the people who were online? Oh, we gonna lose thousands of troops if we try to open up the Strait of Hormuz. What are you talking about, bro? Playing 3D chess. Bro, open that shit up without doing nothing but sending a couple of bombs at Carg Island. Come on. If you think the U.S. lost, come on up and tell me. Because if you can't tell me, it's just words. I'm proving my point, and I'll give you the opportunity to prove yours. But I'm telling you, how many soldiers did we lose to open up the strait once they closed it down? None. Last soldier we lost was on March 13th. It's way April 7th, and we just opened up the Strait of Hormuz in less than a day with a few missiles getting fired off. And them dudes came out waving the white flag, okay, we'll do the ceasefire. What that tells you, if you're a person who's familiar with anything military, they are very hurt right now, militaristically. Trump didn't have to do shit. Y'all, remember all these niggas speculating, oh, they're going to have to put troops on the ground and take Carg Island. They were wrong. They were 1,000% wrong. 1,000%. Think about it. But what they hope is that we forget. They want us to forget that everything they was saying all these days was just a pure fucking lie. America weak. They're scared of Iran. They can't open up Strait of Hormuz, but Strait of Hormuz open. Trump said you're going to open it by this time or I'm fucking shit up. And you know what they did? They listened to their daddy and they opened that bitch up. Trump, they daddy more than Allah at this point. And I know they mad, but that's cool. But they also want to live. That's probably why they're still alive and not dead like they supreme leader and all them other dudes in their leadership. Zarth 4, 100% right. Trump did good. He did really well. Oh, it cost us billions. You know how many billions we about to make? Do you know how many billions the United States is about to pull in, bro? They about to make these billions right back. They about to make probably $1 trillion off of this. Because the United States is now in control of Carg Island. We decide when it open and when it close. Think about it. If the dude who close it, open it, when you say open it, guess what? That means you're in control. You're controlling the controller. Oh, we about to make trillions for sure. I already know. Because if you guys really just take a second to look at the map of the way this whole shit is set up, they had aircraft carriers stationed in a triangle. It created like a choke point for the Strait of Hormuz. Iran might let your ass through, but we had the power to destroy everything coming through that bitch. But Trump went a different route in a different direction. Black Loki, you hope it'll be closed by the end of the week, but that's probably not going to be the case. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Oh, Larisha in the building. What up? Despite the announcement, an Israeli military official stated on condition of anonymity that attacks on Iran were continuing. So it's Israel who broke the ceasefire. Nah, we're not gonna do the anonymous person. Israel has agreed that they don't like the ceasefire idea, but they've agreed to honor the ceasefire. Of course, we know what happened with the last ceasefire. They continued to exchange for like a day because they was just trying to get their ones off. But ultimately, we know that this war or this conflict is not going to be won through ballistic missile fire. We know that already. They can hit each other all day, but they got bomb shelters and everything else that they run into. Somebody saying U.S. didn't get regime change, but crippled Iran's military, economy, nuclear. Iran is going to collapse internally really soon since their economy is about to collapse. Yeah. Hey, vicarious. That's exactly what I said. I said the United States knows what to do, bro. Remember the Arab Spring? The United States knows how to take out your regime many ways. Direct conflict, that's not their only way to do it. They undermine your economy. If your economy collapses, your people turn on you. And you could kill 1 million of them. They don't care. They need to be able to make money to feed their family. Because they're looking at it like, look, we dead anyway if we can't make no money. I'm here, bro. The debate is here. I done called all y'all up. Y'all don't want to come because y'all know what I'm saying is true. When people don't come up to challenge me, I just assume that they agree that I'm telling the truth. Right? It is so much Trump didn't meet the goals set out. What are you talking about? Iran does not have a nuke. Iran is at the table negotiating, which that was one of Trump's goals. He said no regime change and the control, and they control the Strait still. They don't control shit. I just explained that to Ballet. They might be coming in late, but guys, if you can make the so-called controller open it and close it whenever you say, they're not really in control. This is the shit y'all say about Israel. Oh, United States is acting like they're making the decisions, but Israel's really pulling the strings. Well, in that case, that's what America's doing. Because Trump said, I want that bitch open by 8 o'clock, and guess what time it was open? That bitch was open at 7:59. You don't really control it if another country can make you open it whenever they want you to. Y'all think the United States they gonna dissolve their weapons in a vat of acid? Nigga, them boats is going to sit over there. Those aircraft carriers are going to sit over there until Iran capitulates to every demand that the United States is making. Trust me, this bitch like the mob. They negotiating, but they going to make you an offer that you can't refuse. Oh, bro, we don't need nobody for oil. You 100% right, Raymond. We don't need anybody for oil. Venezuela has the deepest oil reserves on the planet. We control all their oil. They just shipped us like 10 big ass oil tankers with oil. Then you got America. We are the #1 oil producing country on the planet. So y'all didn't know that, huh? Y'all didn't know that. America, the #1 oil producing country on the planet. Then we got Canada, they bitch ass. They crying because we talked about cutting off buying oil from them. They was crying. Please buy oil from our oil sands. They got some shit that's like the Brea tar pits over there where it's just sand and it's saturated with oil and they extract the oil straight from the ground. It's like a pools. You could step in that shit, you'd be dead. No, vicarious. And the funny thing is, Iran's not even claiming victory. They know they lost. Do you understand that when you're dealing with a country like Iran, image is everything. This hurts their image. This weakens their image. They were the tough guy they were the little David who was going to fight the American Goliath and beat him with a stone. Instead, David got his ass dragged and went to go hide up in some sheepskins and then got his ass dragged up out of that. We oil gods. Yeah, we have so much oil because it's still based on a market. And a market is based on speculation. A market is based on potential supply and potential demand. And it's a global market. So even though you have a lot of it, the price of it will still be impacted by the price of by what's happening somewhere else. But I promise y'all, I'm telling you guys, the inflation on gas is straight price gouging. They're getting you guys. Because I'm telling you, California, and the reason why California mad is because they can't really price gouge no more because our gas is so high already. I tell everybody this. I bought gas in California just the other day, $5.59 a gallon. But we have $2.50 of state tax attached to that gas every gallon. So if you take away the $2.50 state tax, we would be paying $3.09 a gallon for gas. How is gas up? Only thing up is the gas taxes. That's it. And because of the conflict in Iran, the oil companies were able to, tack a little bit more money onto that shit so they can make a little bit of a bigger profit. That's it. That's it. Yeah, they will control more than 60%. Yeah, of course. Listen, this was the strategy all along. This is the strategy all along. And like I said earlier, I think this is going to end with a drive towards nuclear. I think they're going to start, man, I'm telling you, they're taking control. They're doing their thing. It's cool. I'm happy for them. Whatever. It don't really even matter. But I love watching Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly, to me, bro, be cooking like I'm a mofo. He really, he gives straight talk and he tells you what it is and what it ain't. And he said a lot of the same things I said. They're trying to do a damned if you don't catch-22 moment with Trump. And it's not working. Trump just goes right through it like he doesn't even see it. Because once you stop listening to these bellyachers, whiners, and complainers, they lose all their power. 4401, bro. Nah, you 100%. Can you behold 100%? The link is in the comments, y'all. Oh, shoot, I got some people up here. My bad. TSM is in the building. What's up, TSM? Yo, mic better be working, bro. TSM. Bro be coming up here with 3 different profiles. TSM, where you at? Bro, you the only person I know live in LA, but every time your shit look like you in New York. Bro, this is LA. We don't ride no fucking trains, bro. TSM, come on, man. You in the building. This dude took his camera off. We already know you ugly. Anyway, but yeah, the link is in the comments, y'all. If y'all want to come up and drop y'all opinion on this one, I'm looking for another little video because there was another video. There's another video that I wanted to play real quick just about what's going on. Dang. But yeah, I thought it was crazy how the Iranian reporter, the lady was like, do y'all take him seriously? They was like, we take threats from President Trump very seriously. And that shows you that a lot of what's going on is dictated by who's in your leadership. Your leadership does matter. And it does impact the way other countries, view you and whether they're going to try you. All that October 7th shit, they made sure that happened under Biden. Because if that was Trump, bro probably would have been hot. Jared Kushner them would have been at bro, they would have been blowing bro up. Hey, bro, they just did this. Let's go get them. And Trump probably been like, let's do it. So they know who to try that stuff under. Under a Democrat, they're going to cower and give you money. Under Republican, they're most likely going to come try to get your ass. Straight up. So there's some people who believe that this is the beginning of the end for Iran. And we'll let you decide. But I love to get these differing opinions so I could come to my conclusion. TSM, you in the building. What up, G?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Okay.
Very interesting. I like actually this week I like Trump.
That's okay.
Because that's one thing Donald Trump is good at it. He like put the fire on the situation and after coming down. I mean, like he found a way to make sit down like Iran and negotiate a 10-day negotiation. That's pretty good. And
Yeah,
I
because
knew
they
it
were
was
saying they
coming.
weren't
I knew it was
negotiating.
coming.
We all knew that they were low key. Didn't we all feel like they were going to cave in? Everybody knew they were going to cave.
Come on, yeah. Because Trump, knows that he can. Of course, he can. He has the potential to just like wipe out Iran. He can do it, but it's not the way it should be, And at the end of the day, they find the way to have like open the way for get the petrol from the Iran. And I mean, like they will find something. They work on something good. And the only thing I always say, Trump all the time when he does something, he's not really understand the political consequence of it. Because like where he coming from, Donald Trump is come from business. He's a real estate agent. So basically, like being a real estate, someone from real estate, like the way is to make money and they think after. You understand what I'm saying? And Trump is really someone like that. Like he says something, he tried to just like say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But after that, when you see what's happening, you just step back and say, hey, let's work on something else. And I think it's a good way. I think it's good. I think it's good because the World War III is gonna start. If they keep doing that with Iran, China, and Russia is gonna be involved, and it's gonna be something very dirty.
I really believe that Iran was already preparing for World War III. If you want to know what I think Iran was gonna, if they were able to get a nuke, I think they were gonna nuke Israel, and then they were gonna try to hide behind their air defense systems because they knew World War III would jump off, everybody would start trying to attack them, and then they would try to find a way to bring Russia and China into the conflict. That's what I think their plan was. And if you guys look at military history, that's how it always ends. All world wars usually start over energy. That's what people don't know. That's what made Hitler start invading everybody. That's why he invaded Africa and all that, because of energy. Japan, the same thing. Japan attacked America because America was taking control of oil wells and mines and shit that they needed, and they did not want America to be in control of their energy.
Exactly. And Trump actually he said something true. I think he said that last couple of weeks. He said Iranian people that live in Iran, they're lunatic. They're lunatic. So basically, like you're right, because like people from Iran, they kind of act like as a kamikaze. Like for real, they don't care. They're ready to die, man.
Well, the members of the IRGC, they're definitely ideologues and they believe it.
Yeah,
Somebody in the
yeah.
comments, somebody in the comments said that every ship would have to pay Iran to pass through the strait. First and foremost, Iran does not own the Strait of Hormuz. That is considered international waters. Iran has the power to close it because of their close proximity to it. So it's a geographical advantage, right? A geographic advantage. But
Yes.
ultimately, Iran is already asking for $2 million per voyage for safe passage, but no one's even paying it. It literally
Yeah.
says here, not every ship is currently paying.
And
The
that's why
Iranian parliament has approved legislation to institutionalize these transit fees for vessels crossing the waterway. So they can do whatever they want, but no one's going to pay them. No one's going to pay you $2 million to go through an international water pass. Go
no,
ahead.
and that's why Trump he sent France to negotiate because I remember he asked the French government to just like talk to Iran and find a way to just like tell them to just open the Detroit because like it was impossible to just pay $2 million every day just to get the gas from there. Impossible. And the Iranian government, they know that. They know what's going on, bro. They're not stupid. They kamikaze, but they know what's going on. They know at the
If
end of the day, you know, go for it.
if Iran hits a civilian vessel that's not associated with the United States or Israel because they're not paying $2 million to go through, that will be an international war crime and everyone's gonna turn on them. You cannot fuck with
Exactly.
nobody money or they're gonna turn against you, bro.
Exactly. But I'm surprised, like the Russia government, is being quiet. They've been quiet like since like the beginning of this shit.
Because they over there
Like,
getting whooped. They getting whooped right now in Ukraine. They losing like almost 2,000 soldiers a day. You broke up. Oh yeah, Iran is. Y'all don't even understand,
chance,
bro.
like
Go ahead.
I just think Putin is playing smart. He's just being quiet. But I'm telling you, the day like this shit's gonna be crazy, they will step in. I believe that.
I think they might
And they're
step
just
in,
like,
but
you know, Putin is very slow. They
man,
will.
listen, they have their hands full. I even see the stupid shit about the Chechens and all that stuff, bro. The Chechens don't want to fight for Russia, bro. Y'all
No,
tripping. Like,
no.
I have friends who are Chechnyan. Like, and I know y'all, he knows everyone. My boy Saeed got a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym right in freaking right next to Fountain Valley. I think that's Garden Grove. That's my brother. We trained together jiu-jitsu for years. Bro is a Chechnyan. He's Chechen, right?
Yeah.
And bro will tell you, Chechens don't fuck with Russia like that. Russia came and
Mm.
did they shit dirty. Russia dogged
Be-
them out.
because yeah, and it's true. A lot of UFC fighters they're from Chechnya, but
Yeah.
most of them they're Muslim too. You know, Chechnya they're
They're
Muslim, right?
Muslims. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
Muslims.
but they're not Shiite. They're Sunnis. So
They're
basically, they're not
Sunnis.
as yeah, they're Sunnis. They say
One
you
hundred
know it's different.
percent. So yeah, so that was just bullshit. That was just getting thrown out by people who just like want to trick people, and that's what I don't like about the internet these days. People like actively are trying to deceive people. It's like you're like a devil at that point. I'm working hard to deceive you and trick you, and it's like, what do you gain from that? Me, at least,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to tell you the facts.
yeah. I mean, like, let's see. It's gonna be look. Those next 2 weeks is gonna be very interesting for real because I want to see how Iran is gonna move on and how US gonna move on from that shit.
Let me tell you
Because like,
something. Let me tell you
yeah,
something. This was a surrender. And let me tell you why I know it was a surrender. I'm going to tell y'all all while I know it's a surrender. Let me make myself bigger than everybody. The reason I know this was a surrender is because there is no way you open the strait without giving away logistic information. There's no way you try to board ships to inspect them and all this shit to try to get $2 million on every ship that's coming through without exposing how many troops you have available to carry that out. The IRGC is giving up too much logistical information just trying to operate the strait under this like toll situation. To me, they know their beat. They're trying to save face, right? But they know their beat
yeah.
because when you're hiding out and then you agree, okay, let's do a ceasefire, then you come out of your hiding place. Guess what? Now they know where you were hiding. Now you're going to try to hold the strait or make the strait like a toll booth. they're going to know where your weapons are. United States is constantly surveilling, bro. Did the United States say they were going to stop dominating the air over Iran? No, that's not part of the agreement. They're going to continue to fly over, and they could be 40,000 feet up with a damn drone and be looking at everything you doing down below, know everything you got going on. It's like a rat coming out of the hole. Once that rat come out that hole, you know where the hole is now. So let me know how they're going to maintain all this secrecy while in a ceasefire trying to do negotiations and running the strait. It's almost impossible in my opinion. But y'all can believe what y'all want to. But it's like the foreign minister guy, he even did an article yesterday. He was saying like the IRGC generals are not obeying his orders and they're continuing to launch missiles when he's telling them to stop. So that regime is already breaking down. And the minister is going to have to make a decision. Am I going to just emerge as the leader of Iran and go against the IRGC? Or is the IRGC going to emerge as the leader and they're going to maintain control over the country? But I don't think so. Bro, what are you doing, bro?
I'm back.
Okay.
Because my connection was bad. Yeah. And the thing is like, yeah, I mean, like, so now who took over from Iran? Is his son, right?
Say it again.
I said, who took over the power in Iran? Is his son, right?
The son is in a coma.
They say, they say he's a man behind him. Okay, yeah, I heard that.
He's in a coma, bro. Several media
Wow.
outlets. Yes, he's in a coma, bro. He's disfigured. And remember, that was a rumor at first, but some media outlets confirmed it. Bro's in a coma. He was
Okay.
dead anyway.
Yeah, but they got a bunch of people who are ready to take over. And trust me.
They killed a bunch of them.
They killed a
the
bunch
thing-
of them, but
How quickly are you gonna be ready to take over when they shooting missiles through people's windows, killing them, bro? You ain't.
yeah, because
You sitting
because-
on the
because
toilet, next thing you know, you dead.
Yeah, but Iranian they believe on Khamenei, so like basically for them is a supreme guide. So like always you can find someone ready to, you know what I'm saying?
Man, people like they believe in him, man. Then people believe he will kill their ass if they don't oh shoot. Thank you. Then people believe that he will kill their ass if they don't listen. That's this stuff is fear mongering, bro. Like, did you guys know? I don't know if you guys caught wind of this. I don't know if you guys caught wind of this one, but did you guys know that these dudes is out here putting their women and children in front of damn nuclear facilities so that the United States can't bomb the nuclear facilities? Ain't that about a bitch? Who does that? Like, I look at, oh my God, I look at these people screaming, trying to make Iran out to be like this virtuous country. But what country that really cares about human rights? Hold on. Children. Hold on. What country with men that are respectable, right, makes people go out and form human chains around refineries to keep the United States from bombing the refineries, y'all? This is sickness. At the end of the day, no, not even a refinery. I don't care how many billions of dollars it's worth. It's not worth one human life. They got these people out here. And look, I'm going to tell you something. Dude, you can tell this is by force. Because there's women, there's men at some of them. But when you see all these women and stuff, what woman like, yeah, I want to give my life for the country and bring my kids and do that? That's crazy. Look at all these damn women. If you gonna have somebody stand around there, have some men stand around there and give their life up. Bro, because I know people. And I know Muslim people. Muslim people ain't just throwing their life away like that. Stop. That is not them. I've been in the Middle East, dealt with plenty of Muslims. They ain't about to just go throw their life away. Oh, let me go stand in front of a refinery so a U.S. missile can hit me. That's the stupidest thing ever. Every Muslim is not a suicidal maniac. They probably was like, man, we gonna kill you and your kids anyway, so you might as well go stand out there. Bro, have you ever been around, like, I don't know if y'all know, but like, I literally live in Long Beach, and there are refineries near Long Beach, right, in the city next to us called Wilmington. Back when I was a kid, these refineries exploded. Bro, it blew out car windows like 10 miles away from the refinery. So if a refinery explosion can blow out car windows 10 miles away, how the hell do you think you're going to survive and you're like 100 feet from the front of the refinery? Your ass is cooked. That's going to be a ball of fire like you ain't never seen before. There's no way they're surviving that. They're going to be incinerated. This is sick. Yeah, I mean, am I the only one who thinks this is sick as hell? Why are your women? You supposed to protect your women. Hey, y'all the future. Without y'all, ain't no babies. Why you gonna send them to the front line like a bunch of cowards? At this point, man, you might as well just agree to whatever. All right, man, we'll negotiate with you. No nukes. They ready to give up their women. Why the men ain't out there? Why ain't no men out there? Because a bunch of men gonna survive and then go bone each other. Look at these little kids and shit. There's some men. I see some men right here. But guys, this is just wrong on every level. That's how you know that this damn, it reminds me of the movie Us. Facts. This is sick. And it looks like they forced these people to go out there. I'm not going to lie to you. They waving the flags and shit, but they don't look like they in solidarity. They look like they are terrified. All right, I'm out there. Y'all done got me out here. Are you the guy from No Jumper who got knocked out by a ghost? That's me. It was a ghost. I got hit by a premonition. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty sick, guys. I don't know what the hell's going on, but there's a video that I just saw that I really do want to look into. It's by my brother from another mother, man, Greg Foreman. He's on top of the situation. Let's see.
My life changed.
So Trump is apparently booming right now in the polls because of his victory. I'm telling you, man, I never lost confidence in Trump, man. I never lost confidence in Trump because it's always like that. 1 minute, everyone's hating on Trump. Then the next minute, everyone's celebrating him. That's leadership, guys. You'll be at work and be like, I'm mad as hell at my boss. Soon as that bonus hits you, you like, yeah. He's the best boss ever.
My life changed last Wednesday evening when I got a call from President Trump, and he said that he was endorsing our campaign.
A blockbuster special election is underway right now in Georgia to fill the seat of former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who left earlier this year, leaving not only a critical seat in the Republican majority, but also big shoes to fill here in Georgia's 14th district. Is it like a race to be the Trumpiest?
You know, I'm not sure. I definitely support our president in most of the things that he does, but not always going to agree with everybody.
His Republican rivals, while also loyal to Trump, aren't stepping aside.
I love President Trump, but we've never talked about this being President Trump's district. This is the district belongs to these people.
And that's going to fill the House seat.
To get Donald electing
The time
that we a farmer.
Trump's district. This is the district belongs to these people.
And we love President Trump, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't want to choose our own representative.
we cannot let Georgia 14 turn blue. We have to keep it red. Now is the time to unite behind the candidate that President Trump has chosen
Clay Fuller told us that he is the true Republican who can unite the party. He also sent a warning to voters here that this jungle primary could have unintended consequences and end up electing a Democrat.
Courage is contagious.
That Democrat is Sean Harris. He's a former brigadier general. He's a farmer.
The 17, 18 of the Republicans that I'm currently running against right now, every last one of those guys are trying to do their best to get Donald Trump, even though he's actually endorsed somebody, they still fighting, trying to get his attention.
President Trump has been remarkably reluctant to weigh in on Republican primaries, but I'm told he did so in this case because the House majority is just so tight. Republicans need every seat they can, but the power of the president's endorsement is now also on the line here in Georgia.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about liberal.
So basically, this guy, Clayton Fuller, he's running against this black dude right here in Georgia in the 14th district special election. To make a long story short, bro trounced this dude 68% to 31%, which is major for Donald Trump because it's showing that his endorsement still holds weight. So I'm pretty sure he's clicking his damn heels together, celebrating that, especially in the wake of what's going on in Iran. This is kind of like a litmus test or kind of like an unofficial poll on how bro is faring in some of the more red states. But guys, let's be realistic. We know that the Democrats can't win without cheating. And now that everyone's calling them out and Georgia is under investigation for election fraud, the elections are looking like how they're supposed to be looking, where the Democrat is getting blown out by 30 points, double digits, right? But yeah, this black dude, Sean Harris, is an embarrassment. I don't see how no black man is still running to be a Democrat, bro. Get that shit out of here, bro. These dudes are cooked eternally. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. But yeah, so this dude, he felt like the smart money was on. Let me go run as a Democrat. Let me go out here and shake my ass and be fruity, right? He did it, and he didn't win. He didn't win. I'm telling y'all, black folks, the Democrat dream is over. That crap is 1,010% over. Do y'all understand? I wanted to talk about this moon thing because you know the Artemis, this is the Artemis 2. The Artemis 2 is like the furthest any human being has been away from Earth. And I'm a nerd. I love space stuff. Y'all might not like space stuff, but I love space stuff. Oh yeah, right here. This is so cool. So I believe they actually had I think Donald Trump was actually able, and I hate to keep talking about Trump at this point, but I think that the astronauts were able to talk to Trump on the spaceship, which is crazy. What the heck is going on? Hold on, guys.
Return from the far side of the moon. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, it's my honor to introduce the President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump. Over to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Jared, and you are doing a fantastic job. And hello, very special hello to Artemis 2. Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud. We have a lot of things to be proud of lately, but this is there's nothing like what you're doing, circling around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century and breaking the all-time record for the farthest distance from planet Earth. Humans have really never seen anything quite like what you're doing in a manned spacecraft. It's really special. I want to personally salute and congratulate Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. And I also want to thank the entire amazing team at NASA, headed by Jared, who's a very special guy, by the way. And you all made this day possible, and you've really inspired the entire world. Really, everybody's watching. They find it incredible. I just watched you go to the back of the moon, and people haven't been there in a long time, we can say, but it's going to be more and more prevalent because we're going to be doing a lot of traveling, and then you're going to ultimately do the whole big trip to Mars, and that's going to be very exciting. So you look at, we had no astronaut has been to the moon since the days of Apollo program. The Apollo program was also very special, but that was 50 years ago, and at long last, America is back, and America is back in many ways stronger than ever before. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. The Artemis crew flew in the most powerful rocket NASA has ever made, ever launched, traveled over 250,000 miles, broke the distance record set by the legendary Apollo 13. And America is a frontier nation, and the 4 brave astronauts of Artemis II are a modern day, you really are modern day pioneers, all of you, and one of them happens to be a neighbor. You know who that is, right? You have a special person over there, a neighbor, and we like our neighbor. Your mission paves the way for America's return to the lunar surface very soon. We're going all out. We're doing everything we can, and it's headed up by Jared. We'll plant our flag once again, and this time we won't just leave footprints. We'll establish a permanent presence on the moon, and we'll push on to Mars. That'll be very exciting. I'm waiting for that so much. I'd love to be here, but maybe we won't quite make it in terms of timing, but we will be up in the moon, and that's going to happen soon. So America will be.
Hey, Trump is definitely getting old. That nigga's rambling like a man. I'd have been like, Mr. President, no disrespect, shut the hell up. Oh, shoot, behold, my bad, dude. What's up, man? I didn't see you down there. What's up, guy?
Chilling. I was using the wrong link, Brandon. How you doing?
Man, I was using the wrong link. Jesus Christ. I'm good. I'm very good.
Yeah, much love for letting me come through, man. I appreciate this channel a lot. I think it should get a lot more fanfare, a lot more subscriptions than what it does. But YouTube the algorithm be hating on, bro.
I will get there. We'll get there. My audience is a different audience, and I just kind of like veered off on them. And so now I'm just not. I used to get a ton of views, but I understand that what I'm talking about now is not what they joined this channel to listen to. So I understand it, but it'll go back up. It's building up now gradually. So that's the game, man.
Word up. And I'm supporting you every step of the way. I mean, but YouTube algorithm does hate on the bros that have a conservative perspective from what I've seen.
That's true. But so what's going on?
Nah, chilling. I wanted to comment on the Iran situation, if I could.
Let's go.
Now, early today, like most of us, I mean, like I didn't want this to go down. I mean, I'm not like I'm Puerto Rican by descent, even though I'm American. But I root for this country because I live here. You know, like a lot of so-called minorities, we get into the tendency of rooting against America, like we live elsewhere. And I did the same as a youth, and I've reverted away from doing that. You know, now that I have a son and whatnot. But in spite of the fact that I always want America to win, I certainly didn't want a country to get bombed, you know, in order for America to get a victory, in spite of the fact that it would advance American interests. But in the lead up to this, I was actually listening to a channel that only has bad to say about Trump. Of course, they ain't let me come through because liberals don't want any sort of dissension. They're the real cult. Like, they only want opinions that circle jerk each other. But once it got announced that Trump was entering into an agreement or a ceasefire, or that Iran was entering into a ceasefire, they were trying to flip the script and like put it on Trump. Before that, they were making it seem like Trump was the biggest villain in the world, that this country was going to get bombed. And once a deal was made and the strait was going to be opened with they try to flip the script and like, oh, Trump's a chicken, and like, you know, Trump's always backing out. But at the end of the day, I mean, like the strait got open, which I mean benefits the whole world. I mean, and it may benefit America in some capacity, but he's Trump's putting it out there that we don't really need the strait. All these other countries need the strait. It's probably going to enter into a new world in which Europe is going to have to be policing that like situation. India, where their business goes through that strait a lot too. But at the end of the day, like the biggest boogeyman as far as countries go, like there's a ton of Arabic countries, and not all of them are saying that's why America at every turn. It was only Iran, and Iran, I mean, like they ain't no America, but they ain't no like Trump's, you know, they're not like the Afghanistan or some like, you know, Yemen or some smaller country. Like they're a pretty powerful country. And the fact that their leadership got thwarted, like, you know, taken down, and the fact that, you know, that whole boogeyman, like it really can't be used in the future. Some 2027, we may not even hear about Iran being some sort of threat, like, you know, that we got to take serious. And that's a new world. I mean, since I've been a kid, Iran's always been a threat. And I'm an 80s baby.
Right, you know? Me too. Me too.
And now they're no longer a threat. I mean, like, you know, and I always thought, like, you know, if some big news comes up, they're probably going to try to use Iran, launch it a nuke, like to try to take us away from that sort of news. And like you mentioned earlier, like the Georgia situation, that in terms of this election, which I thought was underhanded. I thought, like, you know, there's no way Biden could have won that election. If that stuff starts coming out, I could have totally seen a world in which they try to use the Iran situation to try to take our attention away from that.
100%. It's like when you see people getting blown out by double digits, bro, and then you go back like, oh, Biden won Georgia, but we didn't know the results till 2 weeks after the election was over. Like, it's just goofy, man. But Trump, he did his big one. He literally, like, kind of like, he pulled the curtain back, that they were like the veil back, that they were trying to like cover everybody's eyes while they moved our country more towards like dishonesty and corruption. And Trump is not going to be able to get rid of everything, but he's doing a good job of kind of like dialing some of that back. But at the end of the day, it's up to us. I mean, I see people right now, oh, they're doing fake calls from space. Like, a lot of people have no, like, they hate on everything because they're not doing anything with their life. Everything's fake. Everything's a conspiracy. It's like, bro, the psyops, like, the real psyops are the psyops that you're missing, that you're following and chasing after, thinking is actually true. Tehran tried to run a psyop on you, bro. I saw people talking about Tehran said Iran said that the U.S. government killed Nipsey Hussle, and black folks bit on that and was really repeating that on the internet. Yeah, you should have known. And I'm just sitting there like, did any of these people do any critical thinking before they jumped on the internet and started regurgitating this nonsense? So I just think for America to go forward, the people who are going to dominate are the people who are strong-minded. In the weak, they'll just find a reason to like forget about it or not pay attention to it. That's just the way of the world.
Word. And a lot of people too. I mean, like Trump has a terrible media. Like the media shits on Trump at every turn. Sometimes Fox even shits on Trump. But like, and some people don't like the image that he's a classical looking like white dude. I mean, I'm not like having no love fest for like white people or hating on my own. But a lot of people, I mean, like, especially in these last like couple decades, like I guess they don't like anything that like they could attribute to like that image or something. I don't know. And they probably see Trump as like a total like white dude, like. But
except for the white dudes they marry, because all the people sitting up hating, man, these liberal women, they love marrying a white dude, man. Even liberal men like Don Lemon. So they hate the white man, but they love him enough to marry him. It's just hypocrisy, bro. It's just, I'm going to say one thing on TV and then I'm going to do something else in my real life.
Yeah, but I only like mess with him. I really don't mess with any other politicians, honestly. Like, I mean, I vaguely have interest in like, and I try to keep track as much as I could, but I just appreciate Trump's deal making ability. Like, you know, he's had to deal with the mob in a business world and didn't back down on them. And he just has a take no shit perspective, like, which I don't have to love him as an individual, like, but if you had somebody leading the charge for you, like if you were a soldier, I mean, you don't got to have a dude that you find like lovable, like leading the charge. You got to have like a ball buster, dude that's effective. And Trump, when he does these deals, I mean, it's the same pattern. It's like with these other countries, it's pressure, escalation, chaos, leverage, and then a deal gets made.
Everybody just be low key scared. Like, I don't hear nobody trying to try the United States when Trump is in charge versus when Biden is in charge. And like I tell people, it's real leadership. You're not always going to agree with leadership, but guess what? You know you trust leadership to get you through the tough times. If you're in the military, you might not like your sergeant or your commander or your officer or whatever, but when shit starts hitting the fan and bullets is whizzing past your head, you're going to be looking to that person to help you, to keep you alive, basically. And that involves trust. But we have a spirit of distrust in this world. And Harlem World Media, the link is in the comments, man. You came 2 times talking shit. Come on up here and tell us what you know that we don't, because we know it ain't much, but we'll hear you out. But final thoughts, Behold?
Yeah, also, you and I was actually listening to your show last night too, in which you had that brother on, like, and y'all were going back and forth. And one of the things you were putting me onto, or like, it kind of like made me think in terms of like the Iran nuclear deal with Obama, and thinking on it this evening, because I didn't know much of like what you were mentioning in the past as far as the 5% refinement, like capability to like power a city and whatnot. Like, I didn't know a lot of these things in the past, but that deal that Iran made with Obama, I mean, to me, it just seemed like he was offering them a layup that was going to hurt America in some capacity, regardless, even in the best of cases, and I was somebody who was rooting for Obama when he ran the first time. Looking back on a lot of these things now, I mean, like, now that I have a different perspective, and that move particularly, like with the uranium and whatnot, it pretty much seemed as if he enabled them to have the capability that they were almost potentially going to have had Trump not stopped Iran from really popping off a nuclear bomb.
No, 100%. And the sad thing about Obama was the next president directly after 9/11, right? Because George Bush got reelected. But Obama was the president who followed the president who led us through 9/11. So the idea of a terrorist attack on the United States was very fresh in everyone's mind. And Obama still went and dealt with Iran and gave them the ability to, at some point, be able to create a nuclear weapon. And that's why they were so angry when Trump got elected in 2016. And that's why they were trying to assassinate, bro, because they knew if we can get a Democrat elected, we will have a nuclear weapon within a couple of years. And so basically, I would tell people, if a Democrat gets elected, it's a good chance that Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb. And Democrats, they love that because they're able to use that as like a fear-mongering tool. Look at how long they were using North Korea. Remember Obama? North Korea, they got a nuke. They're going to do this and do that. And then Trump got elected like, I'm about to check this fool. And Trump just gave that dude a simple message. I think he even went over there and met with bro. And then, bro was chilling. And what did Obama do? Oh, I'm not even going to talk to him. Why? Because why talk to him and humanize him when you can continue to use him as a boogeyman to score political points as you fearmonger your audience? That's all this shit is about. Kicking the can down the road to use it later on in other elections. And Trump is putting an end to a lot of that. Why haven't the Democrats codified Roe v. Wade? Why haven't they codified that? They said every woman has the right to abortion. But when they had the super majority under Obama, who ran on codifying Roe v. Wade, did they do it? No, because they were like, look, why would we codify it when we could use that as a political weapon in the next election? So Democrats and many Republicans are definitely like, go along to get along. Let's keep on kicking these tired issues down the road so we can use them against each other during future elections. But Trump is kind of like, nah, I'm coming in with a sledgehammer, crushing all the bullshit, and they do not like that. But anything else? You have anything else to say?
Yeah, as 100 million thanks for letting me come through again. I think you're one of the doper voices on this platform as far as your perspective goes. Like, it's very hard to navigate in these times. Like, and I try to be very patient with my peoples as well. Like, I get into these conversations on YouTube and in real life, and a lot of times, some of the smoke I receive personally, and I see you receive on this platform too. It's a lot to put up with, man. Like, and I only tell you, like, if I had any advice, and you are a very patient brother in like having these conversations, and to continue to be patient much as you could. Shout out to my brother Masan SF. He shouted out the Knox at DOD. That's my man's.
Dope.
And in terms of one thing though that does give me hope in these times is that politically, like people like us, or my peoples and your peoples, if they want to make a separation, I mean, we've been led by this same Democrats continuously, and I'm just seeing a smidget of our population starting to like revert away, or like at least, like at the very least, like not get engaged. Like, you know what? Like, I'm not messing with either one of these people. Like, where before it was like, I don't like these Democrats, but like, Republicans are racist, so I can't fuck with them. Like,
they're worse. The lesser of two evils, bro.
Yeah. But now I'm seeing a small amount of our peoples, and maybe that's gonna grow, like that are like, like what I gotta listen to every side of this, and I gotta really take ownership of the land in which I live. Like, I mean, we can't act like here in America. I mean, like, we riff about other minority or immigrant groups that come in, and at times that negatively affects like Black people the most. If like when a new minority group comes in, i.e. these immigrant communities that came in under the Biden administration, and from my perspective in New York City, it affected Black communities first and most, but for us to like, go as a political principle and say, well, I'm just rooting against America, then we get caught in the trick bag, and things like that happen, like where we as a policy allow these immigrant communities in, and like the liberals lace them and put them right into so-called Black communities. You know what I'm saying?
100%. They tell you to stop having babies, because population control or whatever. But then they you shouldn't have it's literally replacement. They encourage you not to have kids while they let illegal immigrants come in and encourage them to have as many kids as possible. That is called replacement. Thank you so much, Behold. You're welcomed up here anytime. Thank you for hopping up tonight, brother. All right. So, guys, what up, TSM? You back in the building? You got a final thought? TSM. Bro, on that train. You thought I was a Republican, all Republican. Man, I'm a Democrat, dude. What do you mean? Justice, no kings. I'm a part of the no kings crew. Bro, I could make so much money if I just got up here and start talking about some damn bashing Trump. I gave you the link, Harlem World. You ain't clicking it. If you don't click the link, that's not my problem. Even the late, great President Ronald Reagan fumbled the ball with Iran. Bullcrap nonsense. I'm a Washingtonian, and I've seen 8 presidents come through Washington, D.C. and the Beltway, and Trump is the best. Facts. Trump handled that, man. Trump handled that. The link is in the comments, man. Last time I'm posting it. I'm posting it right now. Paste. It's in there. No worries, y'all. No worries, Behold. All good. Yeah. But what the hell were we talking? Oh, we were talking about the astronauts and this horrible CNN reporter trying to make the astronauts' flight to space about race, and she got straight G-checked by an astronaut, an old astronaut who went to space a long time ago. So let's tap into that real quick before we end it.
In your view, Clayton, does President Trump deserve credit for, he said today that he was given a choice to shut NASA down or keep it going. Do you think he deserves any credit for keeping it going?
Well, I think the entire administration deserves credit. All the people that are involved, picking Mr. Isaacman. You know, the politics of it, to me, is kind of fluff. I think that the key thing is that we're doing it, and that takes the efforts of a lot of different people. It takes appropriate budget money, as we all know. We hope that the budget money will continue to be there, because it will be required for us to get to Artemis 3 and then Artemis 4. So, you know, everybody's taking credit. I'm taking credit by being on your show and saying, hey, I was an astronaut for a while. You know, I lived on the space station. Give me some credit, you know. So
Hey.
it's kind of it's a humanitarian success.
167 days in space, you will get all the credit, my friend. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service.
She was so pissy that bro didn't shit on Trump, because at this point it's become so like common and it's almost like it's cool to shit on Trump. But my question is, why is the media asking questions that are negative about the president? Like, I get if he did something wrong, but funding NASA is not, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like, hey, thanks, man, for funding NASA. She should have been speaking about how this isn't possible without Trump deciding to continue to fund NASA. Abby Phillip is just one of the worst. And, you know, I don't know what they get out of that. I get that it's a job and everything like that. But it's just like, dude, what do you gain out of that personally? I really don't get it. Just made a video of the year. Okay. But guys, look, we're going to get out of here. This is our second show of the day. Thank y'all so much for watching. This was a special edition. President Donald Trump has secured a ceasefire deal with Iran's foreign minister, and the IRGC is not happy with that. And also the trifecta, the IRGC, the Democrat Party, and the woke black mob, the axis of evil, are not happy with the fact that Donald Trump has reopened the Strait of Hormuz while securing a ceasefire deal with the Iranian government. So they are on the warpath. But we who understand that Trump has the best interest of America at heart, and he has the necessary skills and know-how to bring America out of tough times, we are in a celebratory mood. So have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me and this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.